Good morning, everyone. Bonjour, bon dia, buongiorno, guten morgen, kalimera, namaste, shalom, buenos dias. I would like to welcome all the new immigrants in the room and all the first generation to 15th generation Americans also in the room. We all have two things in common. We all love the United States, and we all want to improve our English, especially yours truly. I am Jose Luis Cepeda, the new chair of the board of directors of Building One Community. This is the first time that we have been able to gather in this room for our most important community outreach event of the year. I would like to thank the many people that helped us put this event together, with a special thank you for Benefit Breakfast Committee, our B1C staff, and the great energy of our three benefit co-chairs for this event. And of course, a very humble thank you to all of our generous sponsors and to all of you present here today who sacrificed to come in so early on such a rainy day. We definitely thank you. While our commitment to be welcoming to immigrants has never dwindled, it has been challenged immensely. Current events have shown how crucial our services are for the immigrant population of Fairfield County. This is a group of people that is constantly struggling to get through economic obstacles, and the pandemic exacerbated those challenges, taking them to a new level of incredible hardship. That is why we are here as partners, B1C staff, volunteers, peace officers, and government officials. As one big community, we will continue to support the advancement of our immigrant population that makes up a critical section of our beautiful, diverse society. A lot has happened since the last breakfast in 2019, and Building One Community has nimbly adapted to meet the needs of our participants, as you will hear later from our Executive Director, Dr. Anka Badurina. Anka would have loved to be here today, but she's recovering from COVID, so she will deliver her message via video. Today, we also will hear amazing stories of bravery and perseverance from B1C participant Oralia Martinez and our keynote speaker, Attorney Luis Canales. To start the program, let me introduce the talented Luisa Simon, who will sing the national anthem. She is a junior at King's School in Stamford. The King's School has been a longtime partner of ours, and we deeply appreciate the talent they bring us each year. Luisa has loved the performing arts for many years, training in musical theater and classical voice techniques. She was recently the lead in her school musical, Pirates of Penzance, and is currently part of a production of Heather's a Musical outside of school. Everybody, please stand for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We would like to invite Pastor Rico Arocha from Trinity Church to provide the invocation for our breakfast. Rico is a student ministry pastor at Trinity Church and has worked with kids for 15 years. He is the son of immigrants, and he has dedicated many hours to B1C as a volunteer, whether in translating for legal services department and parent-teacher conferences or participating in family nights with his students. We are so honored to have Rico in our corner.
It's a beautiful room. Well, officially, que la paz esté con ustedes. Shalom aleichem. Assalamu alaikum. La paix avec vous. And then every other language spoken at B1C, and most of them, which I can't speak myself, I say peace be with you. It's so good to be here with you all. It's good to be alive. And it's so good to gather in support of B1C's mission to advance a successful integration of immigrants and their families. My religious tradition is centered on this, that the truest thing about every person is that they are worthy of love and care, of opportunity, and the resources to thrive. Full stop, no exceptions. And this, friends, is the infinite worth, which is the image of God in each of us. At the core of B1C's mission is the conviction of the inherent worth of each person. Each of us here knows it in our bones. We matter. Every immigrant and family B1C works with matters and is beloved. And so our shared belovedness is what unites us this morning. And so, friends, in light of this truth, let's pause for a moment to offer up our awareness, our presence here with each other to our Creator, our originator, the source of this sacred shared humanity that we share. In my Christian tradition, that posture that I just described is called prayer. And so would you join me in a brief moment of prayer, of gratitude and invocation? So God, Creator, source of life, thank you for breath, for existence, and for the ability to do what's right. We want to see what the next right thing to do is, and we need the courage to do it. We celebrate the work of B1C, each precious human who has benefited from the tireless efforts of B1C staff and volunteers, and we celebrate the vital work B1C has yet to take on for the next 10 years. We gladly and humbly take our place in this great mission through talents, time, and treasure. We are thankful for the sacred humanity inside each of us in this room and beyond these walls, friend, loved one, and stranger. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you, Rico, for those moving words, which are so needed. Good morning, everyone. I'm Don Straight, the Deputy Director of Building One Community. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank the public officials who have joined us this morning. State Representatives, the Honorable Matt Blumenthal, Terry Wood, and Corey Paris, Mayor Caroline Simmons, Probate Judge Gerald Fox III, Superintendent of Public Schools in Stamford, Tamu Lucero, Board of Education member Jackie Heffman, and Gloria DePina representing Congressman Jim Himes. Thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate your sustained support and partnership. I would also like to welcome Mayor Simmons to the podium so she can share some remarks. Mayor Simmons has been a supporter of B1C since she was elected to the state legislature in 2014. After she was elected mayor, Anka Badgerina, B1C board member Mary Summers, and former B1C board member Reverend Tommy Jackson all had the privilege of serving on her transition team, for which we are very grateful. Thank you so much, Mayor Simmons, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Don and Jose and the entire board at B1C, and to all of you supporters for being here today. As Jose said, a 7 a.m. breakfast in rain will not hold back this crowd. So really, really delighted to be here with you all this morning. And I actually just got back from Washington, D.C. last night, where we were advocating for more federal infrastructure funding for our city. And one of the first questions that we would get asked when we were meeting with federal agencies was, tell us about your city, give us a snapshot of Stamford. And the first thing that I would say is how proud I was of what an incredible, diverse, international city we have, filled with people from all over the world that speak 70 different languages, and just how important our immigrant community is to the city of Stamford. And it was an important reminder to me that when you tell the story of Stamford, you can't tell that story without highlighting and celebrating our incredible immigrant community. And we're just so lucky and grateful to have such a beautiful immigrant community in our city. They bring so much beautiful culture and heritage and tradition to our city and make up the vibrancy of our city and bring that spirit of ingenuity and entrepreneurship. And I just want to say, as mayor, I'm so proud and grateful to get to be a leader of a city filled with diverse people from all over the world. And we're so grateful to have you here. Know that you have a partner in the city of Stamford. We welcome immigrants from all over the world. And we want to make this the place where you can pursue your dreams with your families. And that work would not be possible without organizations like Building One Community. The work that you all do is absolutely remarkable. And when you think about an immigrant family coming to this country, overcoming oppression and escaping hardship and coming here and in pursuit of a better life, and the first thing they get to is an organization like Building One Community that provides those welcoming doors, that support, bridges that language barrier, and offers support for English language learning and workforce development and housing support and all kinds of critical services. We're so lucky to have this organization. No other city has an organization like Building One Community. So I just want to give a big round of applause to all of you and thank you for the work that you do. And especially want to thank all the staff and volunteers who've worked so tirelessly these past 2 years of the pandemic. And this time was hard for so many in our city, but particularly our immigrant community, many of whom were working on the front lines, working hard to keep us safe and to keep our economy open and risking their own lives to do that. And many of them weren't eligible for a lot of the federal COVID relief funding and support services. And so that's why organizations like B1C are so critical and so important. So finally, I just want to close by reminding everyone of the beautiful quote by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who said that, remember that you and I are descended from immigrants, and all of us came from immigrants. All of us came to this country. All of us have a history that came to this country pursuing a better life for ourselves. And I think that's so important to remember, and remember that we must always celebrate and cherish and support our beautiful immigrant community in this city. So thank you, everyone.
B1C supports the integration of our new neighbors in the community in 4 program areas: educate, employ, empower, and engage. The most fundamental skill a new arrival needs is the English language. In a moment, one of our youth volunteers and an English language tutor, Allison Ruilova, will introduce our 2022 Building One Community video. Allison has been volunteering with B1C since 2019, and she demonstrates a huge amount of compassion and devotion to our participants and our mission. She has a special connection in that her aunt is one of our participants and her cousin has practically grown up at B1C. It is so gratifying to see how entire families can find support and opportunities through the organization and then join our family of supporters in turn. I feel a connection to Allison's journey because English language tutoring is how I first came to know B1C several years ago. So please come up, Allison, and thanks to you and your family for being part of our community. Help me welcome Allison.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ali Rilova. My family is Ecuadorian and I was born in the United States. My parents are former immigrants and I'm so proud to say that my mother achieved citizenship last year. I am 15 years old. I am 15 years old. I'm a student at AITE High School, and I also teach adults how to speak English at Building One Community as a volunteer. I am so proud and thankful to be here. My father always supported me and taught me to help the people around me, and he was always so protective, caring, and thoughtful. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2019 due to cancer. His soul stays with me in my heart, and I'm doing what he had always asked me to do, which is to help the people around me. And he's my king, he's my hero, and always set a good example for me while I lived in New Jersey. I now live in Stamford, and he always taught me to be with a great community, and I'm so proud and grateful to be here. My mother, Paula, she is so strong, and she raised me to be the person I am today. I want to thank you, Mom, for always helping me and guiding me and being my best friend while filling in the role of the father figure. I got to know B1C as my cousin was a participant in the homework club program, and he would always say how beneficial it was. And I was craving to help people and put my Spanish skills to use because I speak Spanish, hablo español. So luckily, my aunt, Lida Ramirez, who is a power mom at B1C, advised me to come to the B1C Center, where I met my amazing leader, Susan Vega. She would always give me the confidence to walk into the room and teach my students calmly and professionally. I was nervous at first, but now I'm great, I'm good. So big thank you to you, Susan, for teaching me to be the volunteer and leader I am today. I love building relationships with my students, having a good laugh, teaching in a fun manner. I'm grateful to be bilingual so I can teach students and giving them the confidence to ask me questions or concerns because that's what I'm here for. So I'm here to help just like my parents taught me. I'm here to give back to my own community. And sometimes I start off with a joke. It's funny because I start off with a joke at first, and if they laugh, then I know I have a good group of students. But then if they don't, then I'm just oh, okay, this is how we're gonna start. So, but right now I'm going into college. Well, I'm in high school, but I'm going into college, and my mom is helping me doing the best she can since my incident last year, but I love you, Mom. I just want to say that. Thank you so much for having me. And now I would like to introduce a very nice video where you can learn many wonderful things Building One Community is able to do. Thank you to your support. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. This is my husband. This is my daughter, who always there for me. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I'm talking to a lot of people. Good morning. Thank you so much to all of you to being here. My name is Aralia Martinez, and I'm part of the Building One community. B1C has supported me through their community and professional development programs. Some of the programs I took are Home Health Aid, Culinary and Food Safety, and Employability Skills Program. Through their connection with the Norwell Community College, I have also completed the Medical Assistant Program. I'm from Mexico, from a small town of Guerrero. Growing up in a family of 15 children, it was beautiful but challenging. As a little girl, I faced many health issues, which kept me from finishing school, but gave me a desire to dedicate myself to those in need of helping hands. When I came from Mexico 30 years ago, with the hope of making my dreams come true, I realized that without training, there were very opportunities to progress in the job. I have a vocation for example, I have a vocation for caring for the elderly. The Home Health Aid program made this dream possible. As soon as I finished my training, I was able to connect with the senior individual. They saw my values and hired me to help them with the daily needs. Completing those programs has been the key to improving my personal and professional life. Before, I used to work long hours, and I could not be part of many of my family activities. Now I have a healthy life balance, and I enjoy my family more while I'm doing what I love. There are many obstacles the immigrant face when they decide to leave their country. If every immigrant told a little bit of their story, each of one of them will have a book full of battles they haven't fought. Coming to the U.S. required us to overcome fear and feeling of loss, our culture, friends, and family. Still, when we obtain some of the victories, they make our souls grow. Those victories give us the strength to continue fighting and keep going. My fight was not being too different. Personally, I had to overcome language and education barriers. A previous abusive marriage, and recently the consequence of the pandemic, when my family and I were ill with the COVID, B1C was there for us, delivering food and medication to my doorstep. Today, my dream is continue to improve my English so I can learn, read, and write, because I read, but not very good. So that I can be better. I want to complete my GED, because I never finished school, and buy my own house. I know that I can make that happen because I am determined, and I have the support of my family and building one community. I know I get there. Thank you to all who make this possible. All of you here this morning change our community for better every day. I have seen changes not only in me, but also in the life of my classmates. Thank you very much to everyone again for contributing to the mission that makes our community better. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Buenos días. Thank you for the nice introduction, Sarita. Yes, that invitation has been pending for 2 years, and I'm honored to be here. I am humbled by the opportunity to be the keynote speaker for this great event. Thank you. My name is Luis Canales. I am a former undocumented immigrant to the United States, a former asylee to this country. I am a former legal permanent resident, but I am now a United States citizen. I am an immigration attorney and founder to Canales Law Offices in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I have been married to the love of my life, who's here with me today, Marjorie Canales. I've been married to her for 12 years. I have 3 children. Their names are Luis, he is 19. I have Jeremy, he is 3. And I have Julian, who is 1 year old. Yes, I am a very busy person. I was born to a poor family in Honduras. My parents had 14 children, and I thank God that they had that many children because I am child number 12. Being raised by a poor family has brought a lot of challenges for my parents and also for us, their children. But even in the most of trying situations, God provides, and the desire to succeed in life can be lit from the inside out. By the time I was 8 years old, I was already working to help my parents in any way that I could. Just like my siblings and my dad, I also helped put food on the table. The many jobs I had as a child also helped to provide for notebooks, pens, pencils, and a backpack to go to school. Even though I had to go to school with torn shoes, nothing stopped my learning. Just like the Building One Community Center, my parents and I believed that education empowers people. We knew that education would be our way out of poverty and our way to improve our chances of surviving in a country that had been riddled with a lot of violence even since before I was born in 1987. Although my parents did not attend school themselves, they wanted all of their children to complete 6th grade at least, so that no one could take advantage of us in life. They said that education is the only treasure that no thief will steal from anyone and no burglar will take away. My parents are lucky. They accomplished that goal since all of their children completed at least their 6th grade and then their high school. After 6th grade, it was left for all of us to decide if we wanted to continue our education. And it was up to us to go work, buy our own books, uniforms, shoes, and backpacks. I have had many jobs in my life. I was a self-made merchant, an entrepreneur. I got so good at it that I was able to sell tierra blanca, white soil. In Honduras, the housewives use that type of dirt to paint their wood stoves and their kitchens, and I was able to sell it to them. I then upgraded to be an announcer at the local market, where I would not let go of any passerby until they bought something from the business I was working for. And then my last job in Honduras was at a local radio station where I learned how to operate a radio show, and I was trained to speak like a radio host. I even narrated advertisement at the speed of an auctioneer, something like this. Banco de Occidente, el banco 300% hondureño, su banco. God blessed all of my parents' children in one way or another. Intelligence seemed to be the gift of choice. As a maternal aunt once said to my mother, "Your children are ugly because they're ugly, but they're intelligent." My life in Honduras was okay up until the gangs started to recruit me to join the ranks. I was first invited to join, and upon my continued refusal, I was threatened, intimidated, and persecuted. My disgust for the gangs grew more and more as they continued to pursue their desire to have me join their gangs. I was a student then, and my speaking engagements, I chose gangs, drugs, and violence as my main topics. I even spoke in front of local leaders that they had to do something to help our community. The last engagement I had that was broadcasted over the radio station, that is when my life took a drastic turn. After listening to my participation over the radio, the gang members put a target on my head. They would exterminate me one way or another. They chased me around on a few occasions, but there is one incident that almost prevented me from being here today. One morning, while I was on my way to the radio station, I was traveling on my bicycle, and I noticed that someone was following me. I started to pedal faster and faster, and the person following me did the same. Then, while looking over my shoulder, I noticed that the person following me was a gang member because he had tattoos on his face and arms. When I realized that he was there to hurt me, I started to ride my bicycle as fast as I could while going downhill on a steep gravel road. When the gang member realized that I could get away, he stopped his bicycle and pulled out a chimba out of his pocket and pointed it at me. A chimba is a homemade gun. My instinct told me to zigzag down the road so it would prevent any bullet from hitting me. And then, pow! The gang member fired at me. God protected me that day, and a miracle happened. At the very moment that the gang member fired the chimba, I lost control of my bicycle, and I fell face first on the gravel road. The impact was so strong that it knocked me unconscious. To the gang member, he had accomplished his goal of killing me, and he left me for dead in the middle of the road and took off. Thankfully, the bullet did not hit me. About 15 minutes after the impact, I regained my consciousness. Even though my eyes were open, I could not see. Because of the impact, my brain had shut down completely, and my vision was the last thing to come back. I started crying, thinking that I was dead. I felt someone washing my wounds. I asked, "Where am I?" And the lady responded, don't worry. You are safe now. No one is after you. You are inside my house, and I am just cleaning your wounds." I started to feel a lot of pain throughout my body. When my vision came back, I could see the lady removing small rocks from my body. I had some small rocks incrustated in my body. When she was cleaning the wounds, I could feel every type of pain, and I could also see the blood coming out of my body. At that very moment, I realized that I could no longer live in Honduras. The gangs had tried to kill me, and they had missed. They would not miss the next time. It took about 1 month for my wounds to heal, and I spoke to my parents that I would have to leave Honduras or the gangs would find me and kill me. One day at 6 o'clock in the morning, at the young age of 16 years old, I was forced to leave my parents, my family, and my country, Honduras. I took a bus to Guatemala. Then I arrived to the southernmost city of Mexico called Tapachula, where I waited for the cargo train, which is most famously known as La Bestia, the beast. I got on the cargo train and I saw with my own eyes why that train is called the beast. There were hundreds of immigrants on the train, and all of them had one goal in mind: make it to the United States. No matter what you did, your number one job while you were on the train was not to fall asleep, or else you would end up being cut in half by the train wheels. I tied myself to the train with my own belt. Some people were lucky to find a flat surface where they could sit down or lay down and maybe sleep. But those spots were scarce on the cargo train. At times, the train would ride for 2 days straight. Unless you were carrying food and water with you, you weren't able to eat or drink. Some immigrants jumped off the trains at the towns that we were crossing, and they were doing that to get food. But they were not able to get back on the train because the train did not stop for anyone. Some did not even make it to the next stop because they fell from the train and suffered great injuries, and some even death. The most horrifying thing that I ever saw was a man who was in the cargo car in front of me. He fell and he was cut in half by the train. I was lucky enough to make it all the way to the United States on my first trip. I waded across the Rio Grande River, got to the other side, and immigration officers detained me. They sent me to a shelter called the Nixon, Texas Shelter Care. This was one of the shelters that were contracted by the Office of Refugee Resettlement to house minors. Once at the center, I was told that I could not remain in the United States because I did not have family to take care of me. Thus, I was sent back to Honduras, where 1 week after my arrival, the gangs were after me again. I knew that sooner rather than later, they would kill me. So I left Honduras for the second time and the third time. But unfortunately, I was detained by Mexican immigration authorities, and I was sent back to Honduras again and again. When your life is at risk, there is no limit to how many times you will try to get away and find a safer place. I left Honduras for the fourth and final time to make it to the United States. This time, I had a phone number for a family member who lived in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I made it to the United States again, and I crossed the border by hopping from beam to beam on the cargo train bridge at the US-Mexico border. These right here are the shoes that saved my life. I made my 4 trips to the United States with these shoes, and these shoes are worth $1 million to me because they saved my life. When I arrived in Scranton, I realized that if I wanted to make it in this country, I would have to assimilate in the community. I realized that I needed to learn English. I did not know much English then, but I had been given a small Spanish-English dictionary at the shelter where I was housed in Texas. So I started to translate the local newspaper. I looked up every word that I found in the articles. I learned the word and the meaning in Spanish. Pronunciation came later. And that is how I am self-taught in English. Later on, I was able to find an English program called School of Volunteers for Literacy, similar to what the B1C has. And I started to learn English. 6 months later, I became a volunteer of the place, and about 1 year later, I also became an employee where I was in charge of about 500 students and many other programs that they had. I was also a computer technician, and I did perform many other jobs at that place. I also joined the Hispanic community at Nativity of Our Lord Church in Southside Scranton, where I became the leader within the church. And that is where I met my wife, Margie. It was there in Scranton, Pennsylvania, that I realized the great need for immigration lawyers and for lawyers that would be passionate about helping immigrants. From the time I crossed the border to the time that my case was decided, it took 5.5 years. The first 2.5 years, I was appearing in court by myself. But then I received an ultimatum from the immigration judge. You bring a lawyer next time, or you will have to represent yourself before this court, and most likely you are going to be removed to Honduras. I had no choice but to look for an immigration attorney. I found an immigration attorney by the name of Tracy Hubbard, who had just started her practice in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It was August 5th of 2010 when Tracy, my wife Margie, my parents, Roman and Lucia, and I appeared before the immigration court in Philadelphia. The final hearing for my case had started, and I was called to give my testimony. I remember that I gave my testimony in English, which was not seen, as the judge said, in that short amount of time. During my testimony, I relived every fear. I felt the pain from my scars, and I feared being returned to Honduras once again. That day was it. I was either going to be allowed to stay here in the United States, or I would be ordered removed from the United States. When I finished my testimony, the trial attorney for the government got up and asked the judge for a recess so she could ask her supervisor some questions. The attorney left the room, and about half hour later, she came back in the room, stood in front of the judge, and said these words, "Your Honor, the government is asking you to grant asylum in this case." I get goosebumps. It makes me cry when I say those words because that is the day that my life changed forever. That is the moment that made it possible for me to be here today. Had it not been for my asylum being granted, I would have been sent back to Honduras, where I would be 6 feet underground right now. After my asylum was granted, I started my undergrad education at Merritt University in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 1 year later, I became a legal permanent resident. By 2014, I graduated with honors with a Bachelor's of Art in English, and I also became a naturalized citizen of the United States. I started law school not too far from here in Springfield, Massachusetts, at the Western New England University School of Law. I then transferred to Villanova University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I got my Juris Doctor degree in 2017. In 2018, Jeremy, my 3-year-old, was born. I remember that when he was about 2 months old, I was taking care of him at home because my wife had gone back to work at CHOP in Philadelphia. I remember I was holding him in my arms, and I opened an email from the New Jersey Board of Bar Examiners, and it said that I had passed the bar exam. I almost dropped the poor baby. I was crying, I was jumping, I was so happy for having achieved such a daunting task. Don't worry, nothing happened to the baby, he's okay. I was sworn in as an attorney on October 22nd, 2018. 2 days later, on October 24th of 2018, I established Canales Law Offices. I started in a very small office in a corner of a building in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. In the beginning, I was everything. I was the receptionist, the secretary, the paralegal, the bookkeeper, the manager, and the attorney. Later on, I hired my first employee. By year 1, I moved to a bigger suite in the same building, and I had hired 2 more employees. By year 2, we moved to a bigger suite in a beautiful 5-story glass building nearby the previous location. By year 3, I had hired the first associate attorney, and we had 5 employees in the firm. Just about 1 month ago, we rented a bigger suite within our building where we now have 6 employees, and we are soon to hire 4 more on Friday. The hard work has paid off, but we have consistently grown, and one of the things that has not changed in our business is our goal to help immigrants, to help the most vulnerable in our community. And we want to help them achieve what I have achieved, the American dream. I want other people who have been in immigrant shoes to be in my United States citizen shoes now. I want them to also obtain legal status. Before I finish my participation here today, I would like to ask you some questions, and I want you to ponder on these questions. Have you ever planted a seed? Have you ever watered a plant? Have you ever harvested the fruits from your garden? If you have, you know that but for your actions of sowing the seeds, watering the plant, taking care of the garden, there would not be any vegetables or fruit to harvest. Let me tell you that all of you who are here today and all of those who sponsor the Building One Community Center are like a person who plants a seed, who waters a plant, and who takes care of it. Were it not for you, the plant would not achieve its full potential. But for your selfless act of giving, the many immigrants who benefit from the Building One community programs would not have achieved their dreams. And we heard some of those stories here today. You have made a great difference in the lives of many immigrants, and you will make a great difference in the life of many more to come. Immigrants are a special group of people. They are hardworking. They are family-oriented men and women whose purpose is to provide the best they can for their children and their families. They're not criminals. Immigrants come to the United States for many reasons. They come here in search of safety, in search of work, in search of a better life. All they want is to achieve their full potential, and it is up to us to help them. It is our turn to plant that seed. It is our turn to water that plant. And if we don't take care of that garden, we will not see the fruits. We will not harvest anything later on. Let's support the Building One Community Center. Let's give them all we can so we can keep on helping the immigrant community. Remember that B1C programs educate, empower, employ and engage immigrants and the broader community. The immigrants they help can be the next professionals or entrepreneurs. Their children can be the next doctor, teacher, nurse, or even a lawyer. Let's make sure that we don't stop short when it comes to our giving. Remember, the more we give, the more we get back in return. On behalf of the immigrants that benefit from the programs and services provided by the Building One community, I must say to you all today, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your help. Let's keep on helping. Let's keep on giving. Let's keep on making dreams come true, and let's keep helping immigrants to achieve their full potential. Thank you.
I must say, that was impressive. I knew he was good on paper. But now, not only is he good as a speaker, he is good people. I won't tell you who, but there were teary eyes in my table. Thank you, Luis. You're amazing, and your speaking was beautiful. I'm still a little taken by that, heartwarm. So, Luis, you help immigrants in the southern New Jersey, and kudos for you for giving back and helping so many immigrants down in southern New Jersey. We at Building One Community help thousands of immigrants and their families here in Connecticut. So, to do this, we need to raise some funds. And we're going to do it with a smile, and we're going to do it with all your help. And so I know I said there was a thermometer earlier. I haven't seen it, but they promised me a thermometer. Oh, there it is. Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. Did you see that? That thermometer is almost full. Thank you. Wow. It says, what does it say? That's real. 61,000 plus. That's wonderful. We met our match, right? Wow. No, not yet. Almost. Sorry. We have less than 4,000 to go. My bad. My bad. I do know math. So 65,000 is our end goal. And so we're really that close. And it's really easy. Just remember, no amount is too large, no amount is too small. And we're grateful for it all. Pero, to be honest, mucho is better. So, yes, we will meet our match because we're less than 4,000 away. So now I want to say a little shout out, actually a big shout out to all our sponsors today. We have a list of sponsors that is worthy of reading. It's in your booklet, so please feel free to see it. We're immensely grateful for sponsoring our event today because you made a huge difference. You are a rock. And I hope your guests at your table, of your sponsored tables, are as generous as you are. And I know my guest at my table will be so because I invited the husband. So I also, hi honey. So I also want to say that we have some amazing volunteers, and our volunteers are caring to the point where we have to say a heartfelt thank you to them because during the most difficult years, our volunteers were there, at virtually, of course, and they were there through those years, and that loyalty, and it's highly impressive. It truly is. And we are really grateful for them. Many of them are here, so we say thank you. Let's see where the thermometer is. I need to do one more check because I really think we're going to meet it. Oh, 62,000 plus. We really are so close. This will happen. Thank you. Please make it sure it happens before I finish my speech. So you must have noticed that the participants on the first video, they said they're so grateful for the programs. You notice how they said it's life-changing? Your donations continue to pay for those educational programs. And it's not just teaching English. There's a lot of the skills development programs that we work and do. And one of our most impressive programs is the Immigration Legal Services. Did you know we have 2 full-time attorneys that are immigration attorneys, and we have 2 full-time justice fellows? Did you know that Building One Community is accredited by the United States Department of Justice as a provider of high-quality, low-cost immigration services? That's worth another donation, right? No, but seriously, it's quite a really important part of what we do, because to make it low cost, you don't find that anywhere in the area. So, and once a month, I have to give you another trivia. Once a month, the immigration staff, they do a Zoom for any participants who want to go into the link, and they'll answer questions for an hour to anyone who wants a legal question. And they'll do this for free, this Q&A time, and it's once a month. So that's pretty impressive, because people who are intimidated by calling or don't know much, that's a way to start. So that's one of our best programs. So, and that's worth another donation. So, where's the thermometer? Can we see it, please? Because I really know we're going to meet it. 63, we're so close, yes. So to learn more about our programs, please go to b1c.org, and you'll learn a lot. Also, notice that on your table, you... Yay! Wow. Thank you. Wow. The confetti came on. Did you see that? Did you like it? That's cute. That's special. Really, my heart is pounding so out of joy. I'm really happy. Just note on your table, there's annual reports that just came out. Many of you will receive it, or most of you will receive it in the mail and or via email. If you want to you need to read it right away, please go ahead and take it. We're proud of the work we do. We've helped 13,500 immigrants in the last 11 years since we've been open. And that's a lot of people. So it's not just the immigrants that we help, it's their families who are abroad and the families who are local. So it just keeps, the waves keeps hitting so many people we touch. We're thrilled to say that all of our staff are here today, and we are especially grateful for the staff, especially during the hard years. Their dedication is something we don't take for granted. Their dedication to the mission is something that we're really touches our heart. And I know Anka is not here, Anka Badurina, our executive director, but I have to tell you that when she took over, it was peak summer of 2020, so the pandemic was at its worst, and she came on board as a brand new executive director. She worked extra hours, reconfiguring our programs and readjusting the classes down from live to virtual, and adding systems that met the emergency needs of our suffering participant. Just know this is no small feat. And she did it with brilliance, and she did an impressive job with this, and and a lot of passion, of course, and we're so proud of her. And behind the scenes, there's a lot of good work done by the board of directors. Many of you are here today. We really appreciate your being here and all the time and talent that you give to our center. I want to, the chair of our board is brand new, Jose Luis Cepeda. You agreed to come on board this year. We're really grateful. And we've all noticed you're doing a wonderful job. So now that just because we met this fabulous goal, feel free to continue texting, and I'm going to close up with a few important remarks that you need to know before we all leave. We all know how important it is to engage and empower the immigrants who live in our communities. So to promote our work, you may want to go on social media, and it's really fun, so you really should. And follow us on Facebook, and go into Instagram and like us, and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that. And one good way to advocate for us is to share our stories. And this would be extra special, so we would appreciate it. And for added fun, I'm going to tell you that we have some really good YouTube videos. So you want to learn a little, you want to smile a little, some of them are just fantastic. So I highly recommend you go and see our YouTube videos. I have the pleasure of telling you about our next event will be the colloquium. We're going to do it again in September 8th this year. It's going to be at the Stamford Yacht Club again. We are promising an enriching panel discussion, so I hope to see you all there on September 8th. Please note that Building One Community cannot do all this good work in Stamford without the support of the city's mayor, Carolyn Simmons. Welcome and thank you for your wonderful words, and the support of as well as the support of previous mayors. So we're so grateful for embracing us. We also have the great support of the Stamford Police Department. There's a few police here today, in case you didn't notice. Welcome, and including Chief Tim Shaw. I don't know where you are, but welcome and thank you for being here. Stamford's Public School is our partner, and we really are. It's a very special partnership. It's Superintendent Tamu Lucero is on the board, and she's here, so welcome. Thank you very much for your partnership. Last but not least, I want to give a big, heartfelt, warm thank you to my benefit committee. There's many of you here. This committee includes some of the best volunteers ever. Ladies, a heartfelt thank you from myself and Annie and Marianne, who couldn't be here today, but we really are, this last 5 months, you've all worked hard and we really appreciate it. It's a brilliant group of people in this committee, but another thing that I want to say before you go, you want to volunteer, it's really fun. You can be in my committee, or if you don't want to, you can be a teacher, but my committee is more fun. So there's many ways to volunteer, so I would hope that you all consider volunteering. Part of being in this committee with two brilliant women who co-chair this, Anne Downey and Marianne Can, they couldn't have been done without you guys. You're so impressive women. And also the brilliant staff, Anka Badurina, Elena Perez Moreno, and Andy Hunt. Really terrific. Without them, this process was made truly pleasurable. And I have two more little things. You notice on your table, there are some really cute boxes. That is a gift from us, because you spent the quality time this morning. A gracious donor who is a sponsor gifted this, so we can gift it to you. Thank you. And it's a cola brigadeiro. It's a Brazilian pastry. Please enjoy it. Smile when you eat it and think of us. And it's a gratitude. It is great to be in person with you all as we celebrate the important work of Building One Community. Thank you for being here and supporting us. See you September 8th. God bless you all. Be well, and let's go forth, building one community together in Connecticut.